Hey everybody, we are back to Greenwave Radio Live, home of the Alternative Media Television Network and our syndicate American Freedom Radio. Make sure to support us and support them. It is approximately 1 o'clock here in Arizona time, and it is June 18th, 2013. We are broadcasting around the world, of course. I'll be taking your phone calls today, also our live stream via YouTube, and working around a little bit of an intermittent internet connection today, so let us know. Hopefully we're coming in strong. Got a lot of good news to report today, some legitimate good news, and also some facetious good news. We've got, in the title of the video today, you can see is U.S. to begin direct peace talks with Taliban within days. Well, isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? President Barack Obama is going to negotiate, going to begin directing peace talks with the Taliban in Afghanistan. You know, the war that we're supposedly leaving, or, you know, wasn't it that Obama was going to get out of Iraq, and then he wasn't going to get out of Iraq, and then, you know, he enters another war in Libya, and now a brand new war in Syria. So we've been putting out a lot of content over the past few days and the past few years. Many naysayers, by the way, said we would never go to war with Syria. You know, what you talking about, Willis, is what they would tell me. But it was, you know, what you talking about, Christopher? You know, there's not going to be a war. You know, President Barack Obama, he's about hope. He's about change, man. Him and Oprah Winfrey got our best interests in heart, and he's black. You know, that was the big thing, too. You know, no racism anymore in America, I guess. We know that that isn't true. We know that... and I would argue, and have argued for some time, President Barack Obama has actually encouraged more racism, I think, in America. And I realize that's a pretty divisive statement, comment, assessment to make, but it's a direct one. I think there's more racism in America now. I think the country is more divided, more divisive. And I think it's really unfortunate. But I also think it was the intention of this president. And I think he's done a very incredible job if you're going to measure his success rate in terms of destroying our country. He's killed it. Literally. He's literally killed it. So, you know, in terms of setting the country on a course of death, you know, it's kind of like walking the plank, you know, where they've got the sword at your back and they're like, you know, get on over there, scallywag, and you're, you know, the sharks are below and, you know, you're about to go in and be killed. Same thing for America. So in that respect, and from, you know, that sense of measurement, and I'm somebody that likes to measure results, he's done a fantastic job of accomplishing that goal. This was from France 24. Says senior U.S. officials said on Tuesday that they will enter peace talks with the Taliban at a new office within the coming days, and what may be a significant step towards an end to the long-running war, referring to Afghanistan. Senior U.S. officials said on Tuesday that representatives will begin formal talks with the Taliban within a few days at a new office in Qatar. The Afghan Taliban opened the office to help restart talks on ending the 12-year-old war, saying it wanted a political solution that would bring about a just government and end foreign occupation. Senior Barack Obama administration officials, speaking on condition of anonymity, not saying that correctly today, anonymously, because they were not authorized to speak on the record, described the office opening to AP as a stepping stone to full Taliban renouncement of al-Qaeda. So what this is counter-propaganda, basically, because, of course, President Barack Obama is engaging a new war. So we've got a brand new second new war. You know, remember, Libya was an Obama war, totally anti-constitutional, bypassed the War Powers Resolution Act, bypasses the American people. It just basically says, F you, I'm Obama, I'm going to do whatever I want. And so he decides to kill people over there, puts a hit on Muammar Gaddafi, one of the wealthiest men on the planet, you know, moves his way in, kind of steals all the wealth, and, you know, this is all kind of a part of that geopolitical strategy of destabilization. And this is what makes Syria so important. You know, people say, you know, Christopher, Syria doesn't have much oil. You know, they're not a large oil-producing nation, and that's true, they're not. but they're a gateway. They're a gateway to the Middle East, to the vast oil resources the United States is stealing. Also a gateway to Iran. Of course, Syria and Iran, they have this relationship. They would probably call it a win-win relationship, very anti the United States because they're being invaded. I mean, if Iran or Syria invaded the United States, do you not think that there'd be a little anger among American citizens if, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad or his successor, his newly elected successor, which just took place within the past week, was to invade America? You think we'd, be cool with it, or you think we'd call Canada? I don't know how much Canada's going to do, although I love our Canadians or other allies. Don't you think we'd kind of make friendships with those people that didn't like Iran? So, it's interesting to think about it from the other perspective, to think about it from the perspective of the aggressor, which is what the United States is. I mean, talk about the largest terror organization in the history of the world. It's, a very imperial nature of seeking and destroying, and my way or the highway. We will spend as much money as we want. We will drown in debt. We will ruin the American people. We will ruin the American economy. We don't care. We'll prop it up. Bailouts, interest rates down to zero. We'll do what we want. We'll take your oil. If you don't like it, we'll kill you. We'll propagandize the American people that the reason for the invasion is a humanitarian effort, even though we're the ones, not us, but our government are the ones murdering overseas, costing millions of people dead, up to some tallies, including innocent civilians. So this is absolutely incredible. But, Syria is a target, and it is also a gateway into Iran, which makes it so significant. And, of course, the overall destabilization of the Middle East has been the goal. Don't let these countries actually organize a unified front against the West, or guess what? We might not be able to keep stealing their shit. So that's where we are in America today, and what we're seeing in the news, and we're seeing the headlines, a lot of this being direct counter-propaganda out of what's really going on behind the scenes. Now, Russia came out, Putin made a statement a few days ago, and he spoke again. Comments came out today, said, didn't feel isolated. Not all G8 leaders agree Assad used chemical weapons. So, chemical weapons may or may not have been used. Who really knows? May or may not have been used. But based on the evidence and the track record of the United States being a lying scumbag nation, and remember, I love this country. I love America. I give America the benefit of the doubt, but I don't give our leadership the benefit of the doubt because they have proved us wrong. They have proved themselves liars, and they've proved themselves scumbags again and again. Remember, it wasn't too long ago George W. Bush said, weapons of mass destruction. There's weapons of mass destruction over there. We're going to have to kill Saddam. People hated that, Call him Saddam, for crying out loud. Call him Saddam. And he'd be like, Saddam has weapons of mass destruction, and it's the reason that we will invade. And everyone's like, well, I guess if he's getting that from his intelligence units, we should probably, do something. Of course, it's a total lie. It's a total farce. Costs all kinds of people's lives. Not just ruins people's lives, but in the process is, could even argue ruined America's finances as well. So total bullshit, total BS, and now we are expected to believe just because Obama, the great unifier, really the great divider. Again, there's more divisiveness, more racism. I mean, just take a look at the Trayvon Martin Zimmerman case. You remember that one? I mean, that was, boy, did he play into the race card there. I remember President Barack Obama, Trayvon reminded me if I had a son. You know what, Mr. President, maybe you should not be involved in those kinds of politics. Maybe, I know you want to get your big nose in there, and you love your teleprompter and you want to, give your opinion. Maybe he was going off teleprompter there, I don't know. But I mean, talk about helping to brew the racism. Trayvon, it reminded me of my own son. course, they never wanted to show us the pictures of Trayvon with his gun. Not that owning a gun or anything's wrong with that, but they didn't want to show us the track record of him burglarizing his school, stealing, thousands of dollars worth of jewelry, doing drugs, doing all kinds of things that really kind of paints a picture of him not being a very nice guy. Didn't want to show us any of that images. We just got the cutesy ones, where, not the ones showing Trayvon as a gangbanger. I mean, that's not my opinion. Just look at some of the photos with his, his hoodie, and he's got like a grill in his teeth. And not that you don't have the freedom to do that. You certainly do. But he was also stealing shit at school, getting suspended, expelled. I mean, from all accounts, from the evidence, looks like a complete loser. But all the mainstream media and Obama wanted to show us was like his Skittle pack. Like, hey, my name's Trayvon, and here's my Skittles and my iced tea. And promote this, this racist approach. Obama did that. Not me, not really anybody, but the president. Just, wants to drive a wedge right down the middle of America. I mean, Obama, he says he calls himself, hey, I'm Lincoln. He identifies with Lincoln. So, Obama wants the Civil War. He's helping to propel this thing. This is all about the destruction of America. You community organize your way to the top. You blow corporate America enough, and eventually you'll become president. So, Obama, he's gone down on a lot of corporate interests, that's for sure. So, he's blowing corporate America left and right. Now he's, supposedly the most powerful man in the world. He's kind of hoarded himself out to the top, accepting, backdoor contributions. And, hey, Solyndra, hit me up with this. And then he drives the companies into bankruptcy. And then, when the media turns on him and is like, hey, this guy's actually been a part of scandal after scandal, IRS, NSA, Benghazi, on and on. Then he just diverts your attention and brings up a race card. Like, oh, hey, take a look at Trayvon Martin, racist act. And, liberal America is in an uproar. Like, how dare them attack the Skittle boy? Even though it has nothing to do with race at all. And, they wanted to make out Zimmerman like he was a white guy, even though he's actually, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, he's more of a Latino blend or something along those lines. I always like those forms, too. It's like, what's your race? And you're filling them out, and it's like white, Caucasian, Black, African American, Latino, and then it's like, Filipino and, Native American. There's, Islander, there's all these different, and then there's like, I wish to not disclose. I usually just check the box, not disclose. But you can't really do that anymore with the NSA literally just kind of engage in every aspect of our life. Again, in a Google Glass world, do we really even have a chance to disengage? I think we do. I actually think we have a legitimate chance. I actually think that we can beat this thing in our own way. I actually think we can use the technology against the system. I think we can beat it. But we have to decide to do that. And that's the root of the problem in a lot of respects. The American people waking up, the people of the world waking up, and I think it's happening. And this is what I'm incredibly hopeful for. I've seen transition and transform over much of the past few years. This, to me, these are the good signs. But more people need to realize that it's not corporate America that has the power. It's not the big banks. It's not these politicians or the people that own them that have the real power. Those that pull the puppet strings or smoke their fancy cigars behind closed doors that we think plan and rule the world. Not that there's anything wrong with smoking a good cigar or having a nice drink from time to time. But the people that really have the power are you and me. You have the power. And isn't that interesting that people are starting to realize that? You vote with your wallet every day. Every day you make a purchase, you decide to do something. You go to a restaurant, you do business with a friend, some kind of independent contractor, whatever it may be. You go to a social function, you go to church, you don't go to church. Whatever it is that you may do, you're voting You're voting with your actions, and you're voting with that experience. You're tangibly integrating yourself into the real world. I mean, these are all things to think about. And I've stressed this a lot, and I stressed this a lot in yesterday's video. You have the power. If only you want to take it. If only you want that responsibility. And that's the honest to God truth. You see, taking charge and control of your own life is a responsibility. And it's a responsibility a lot of people don't want. A lot of people would prefer to be taken care of. But you see, the cost of being taken care of, and it's not that being taken care of at times or getting help from other people is a bad thing. That can be a great thing. But allowing a government, an overreaching, all too powerful federal authority that does not have your interests at heart, take control, raises a little bit of an eyebrow. And guess what? You are living, and we are living, the repercussions of that daily on a daily basis. We're about to go to our first short break. Please support our sponsors. Really appreciate it. I'm Christopher Green. This is Green Wave Radio Live. We got a few minutes left here. I'm going to go to calls in a little bit, so make sure to jam up our phone lines. Our hard number, 218-339-8525, 218-339-8525. Again, we've had a little bit of an intermittent internet today, so the connection's been a little so-so. Maybe in the comment box here, I know we've got quite a bit of you tuned in on the YouTube live stream, the live show, AMTV Live. Let us know how we're sounding. Let us know how we're doing. When we're on the break here in just a minute, I'll go to some of your comments, see if I can't answer them in the box that you guys are actively posting on. Send out a tweet. In fact, I need to send out a tweet. I'll do that right now. Let your friends and family know that we are on the air live. Send them over to our channel, and we'll be right back. I'm Christopher Green. Stay tuned. Hey, everybody. We are back. I'm Christopher Green. This is Green Wave Radio Live. We have a live show today. It is, of course, Tuesday, June 18, 2013. Make sure to tweet out to your friends and family. Let them know we're on the air. Make sure they subscribe if they're not already. Get it out to the viewing public. You know, YouTube has a tendency of frustrating a guy. I'm trying to figure out how we even go to the page right now where you can actually see the live comment stream. For whatever reason, on Google, on the admin side, we can't see any of the comments. So Google, if you're listening, please send us a how-to guide. And we're actually experts, so it's pretty amazing we can't figure this stuff out. Let us know how we can complete some of those tasks. We have a great show today. There is a ton in the news. We are also taking your calls. Make sure to check our websites regularly throughout the week, daily, if you're not already, both at greenwave.com and amtvmedia.com. You'll get all of our latest broadcasts, and we have a thriving, growing community online with tens of thousands of subscribers. We have over 67,000 people on YouTube currently. That's doubling every 6 to 12 months or so, with over 12 million views worldwide. We're moving almost 2 million eyeballs a month now, just on our videos, which is pretty incredible. And that shows you the power of you. That shows you what you can do. But what's amazing about all that is that we are really just touching the surface of what the potential is. In terms of getting a sustainable message of liberty and freedom out to the public, not just here in America, because it's bigger than America. And as much as I love our country, as much as I love the flag, the big giant flag I'm looking at behind me in the room, I don't think you guys can see that on the camera. It's so much bigger than that. And I ask you the question, I have a video coming up next with a little bit of a surprise. It's in post-production as we speak. I also have a AMTV News report by Topher Morrison. Got a little bit of a surprise for you, too. We actually have very good news. Very good news. AMTV has found a new home. And so we are making a bold move into the future as we enter the second half of this year in 2013. and we are expanding like gangbusters. But we can't do any of this, and we can't continue to grow, get bigger, compete with these corporate interests, which, by the way, are doing everything they can to destroy us. I mean, you see this right now. You see how the corporate players are entering into the quote-unquote liberty market. We have people leaving their companies, traditional companies like Fox and CNBC and Bloomberg and et cetera, and they're basically trying to co-opt the movement that you created. The movement that was built from nothing, from the ground up, literally from my basement. One of many voices of the voiceless within the movement. Pretty incredible. And so very excited. In fact, our first day was today. I'm operating a little kind of a pseudo operation, which you're familiar with today. As we begin to integrate, we finally have a little bit more space. But we have our work cut out for us, America, and those of you around the world. We have our work cut out for us. And so we're making bold moves and giant leaps forward, and we're doing everything that we can to grow. I need to add more people, because people don't realize, we do everything from A to Z. Not only are we up at 5:30 in the morning sourcing our material, going through stories, late at night before I even go to bed, I'm reading news. I mean, this is a 24/7 news cycle now. Half the time you can't sleep. Sometimes you guys are like, hey, Chris, you got bags under your eyes. What's the deal? Well, that's the deal. 24/7 news cycle. And, we virtually have two people. You've got myself and you've got Topher Morrison delivering AM TV news weekdays. We've got a few others in a support role, and that's it. That's it. And so we're doing everything from start to finish. And part of that experience from the very beginning, because, again, we've been at this. I've personally been at this for 3 years, going on 4 years now, has been incredible and is awesome. It's been blood, sweat, and tears. But now to take this thing to the next level, we have to make a big leap forward and make a big push and be bold moving into the future, because we are being attacked. That is just the truth. That is the bottom line. The Foxes of the world, the CNNs, want us dead. They want to end the alternative media. They want to end our viewpoint. Or they want to co-opt us, or they want to take us over and destroy us. I don't want that to happen. And I know you don't want that to happen. And so we must fight and do everything that we can to push forward and to continue this message and to blow it up. And I have a very passionate video from my heart, from my gut. It's coming out after this radio broadcast today, after the live show. And, I just want you guys to know that we're going to be asking for your help and your support in the not-too-distant future. We're going to need it. We've got to make a sizable investment into technology, into our own syndication, into our broadcast. To get things going, I need to add more people. I need to add a support staff so that we can actually produce the content and the news that needs to get out there to you, the people. People ask me all the time, Christopher, what do we need to do? And, why don't you do this better? Why isn't your broadcast live in a studio setting? And why aren't we getting tons of news? And why don't we just totally destroy the mainstream media? Well, the reason we haven't been able to do that is because, number one, we've needed more space, and number two, we've needed financial support. Now, many of you have donated and been donating over the past few years. We have awesome sponsors, small businesses to medium to large companies, all within the Liberty Movement, all personally vetted by me, all supporting what we're doing, and we're supporting our sponsors. The sponsors I'm talking to are saying, Chris, things are gangbusters. It's incredible. Our Seeds Now company, check them out, seedsnow.com. Another Chris, I don't know why I track so many Chris out of California. This is a guy that was with us from the very beginning. He's got so much business, he doesn't even know what to do with it right now. He's literally putting a few items he had to work overtime just to get out. Incredible. Check him out. I know a lot of you have supported him, and by supporting him, you're supporting us, etc. You support this Liberty economy along with our other sponsors. But check him out if you haven't already. In fact, for a limited time, if you enter promo code GREEN with an E10, it'll give you a 10% discount. So, look, grow your own food. Tired of eating at McDonald's? You know, tired of getting cancer? People are waking up to this now? Well, then take matters into your own hands. So, just incredible and really good news. I'm very excited for the future. We're going to be working tremendously hard to elevate our broadcast and to elevate what we're doing, to really break through and shatter through that next glass ceiling. But I'll be honest with you guys, I talk about it in this video that's about to come up after this show. Without your support, I don't know if we're going to be here in another 6 months. That is the honest to God truth. We will die. Corporate America will destroy us unless you support us. Because corporate America is working with millions of dollars right now to push us out. You've got all kinds of people moving from the traditional quote-unquote corporate media, and now they're attempting to co-opt our movement, what we've been doing. You know, they're trying to do all these things, so it's just extremely important that we're vigilant, that we vote with our wallets and through our actions of what we do, that we continue to share this message. And we continue to push this with the same vigor, guts, balls, blood, and brawn that we pushed it with since the very beginning. We're getting, and we will be a lot bigger as we close out this year and we roll in to 2014. But I'm going to need your support to do it. You want a better broadcast? You want our show in a studio format Monday through Friday? You want it bigger, better? You want guests on live in studio? You want to be able to share this out to your friends and family? You want AMTV on the scene with interviews, much like what we did with the Republican National Convention, interviewing people like Ron Paul, Peter Schiff, John Voight, spoke to people like Stephen Baldwin, the former head of the United Nations. You want that? Well, guess what? We need your support to do it. You know, we'll continue to push the envelope. I continue to push the envelope every day. I'm already working 24/7. Topher's doing an amazing job for us with AMTV News. But we need to take it to the next level or this will die. And guess what? Your little tried and true alternative perspective, which I love, I've risked everything to do, won't be here. I mean, that's just the honest to God truth. You'll get corporate media again under the guise of, oh, it's the truth movement now. No, it's not. CNN and Fox above it, calling themselves truthers now. Totally bullshit. We are the original truth movement. We are the original independent media channel, period. We're not some corporate types that, you know, all of a sudden we leave corporate journalism and, you know, we're going to start our independent venture. No, I literally built this shit from the ground up, from nothing. You did that. Your support did that. And we need it now. I need it now more than ever. So expect that I'm going to ask for your help in the not too distant future because we need it to survive. Otherwise, we will not be here. We will cease to exist. But I am very excited to step into this next phase of our growth, to step into the next phase of this movement, to step into the next phase of truth in media. And to take our message, and what's important to me and our organization, and I know is important to you, is that we continue a sustainable message going forward. Not just a flash in the pan. You know, you think 67,000 plus subscribers and growing and doubling every 6 to 12 months is great. Fantastic. You think 12 million views on YouTube is amazing? That's fantastic. We're just touching the surface. Over the next year, with your support, AMTV will have 1 million subscribers. We will have 100 million views on YouTube. We will be building out state-of-the-art facilities to put out the content that you want. Impartial, independent, and it's after one thing, the truth. So I want all of you to be wary. I want you to be really wary of a lot of people. You see them coming out of the woodwork now. And some of these good people, others not. Some of them wolves, sharks. Be very careful of who these people are. Because a lot of these people are trying to place themselves into, hey, we're the movement of, no, you're not. You're corporate America bullshit coming in to co-opt our message. Co-opt you is who these people are. So we're moving fast. We're moving aggressively. We're jumping in face first, head first. And we're going big. As we close out 2013, we got another 6 months left, and we're going big in 2014. I have every single resource going into this that I have at my disposal, and it's not enough. We've done everything I have done that we have done since the very beginning. 3.5 years ago, go back to our first video, sitting in a room. I even had short hair back then. I got the camera on. People told me, hey, Chris, this isn't going to work. No one's going to listen. You're an idiot. I mean, literally, I got people told me, this won't be sustainable. You won't be able to do this. Nobody will tune in, blah, blah, blah. Go get a real job, blah, 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 blah. You know what? I didn't listen to anybody. You know what I listened to? I listened to that little guy inside of me. And I listen to you because I believe in you. I believe in our movement. I believe in seeking the truth at all costs and to being impartial about it. And that's another thing that we are very aggressively tackling. It is very important that we source all that we do, that we investigate diligently, that we're fact-checking our stories. And of course, a lot about what we discuss is opinion. It's me off the cuff. It's real. That's why you guys tune in. I'm not reading a teleprompter right now. This is just me. I'm giving it to you friggin' straight. That's how it is. But it's important that we do all those things so that we are taken seriously by the critics and the pundits that have one goal in mind, by the way. And that goal is to destroy us, to destroy you, to destroy your movement, to take that away from you. You have my commitment. I will do everything, and I am doing everything that I can. I will continue to push. I will continue to work my ass off along with you to make this bigger, better, and to get this message out to more people. And that's what it's about. Because I never got into this for money or fame. I never cared about any of that. What I cared about is I saw a lot of friends and family, people that I loved, clients at the time. I saw a lot of people get hurt, and I wanted to do something. But I'll be right back. I'm going to get into more of that in a minute. Everybody stay tuned. Christopher Green, AMTV Live. Everybody, we are back. I'm Christopher Green. This is Green Wave Radio Live. Make sure we got all audio feeds, video feeds working. It is hot in Arizona. You might see me sweating here a little bit. I'm kind of moving the sweat from my brow. It is hot in Arizona. We're well into the hundreds. We've hit 105, 110 the past few days, so the AC air conditioning is working overtime. I think maybe it even feels better outside at this point. A lot of good news today. AMTV, I just shared with you. We got another video coming up in a moment along with the AMTV news broadcast. AMTV has found new space. We found a new home. We're very excited about it, feel very blessed to have the opportunity. We're going to need your support to make it a reality, to make sure that we can continue to grow, that we can continue to take and push our broadcast to the next level. So please stay posted on all of that. Stay tuned to our upcoming videos. I wanted to get a little bit into Snowden today. And I put out a lot of controversial videos on Snowden. I think that there's a lot of legitimate questions that I still have that, quite frankly, have not been answered. Who is this people working for? Is he a legit leaker? Why does he, choose China, Hong Kong specifically? Why is he lauding them, et cetera, et cetera? After watching the story develop a little bit more, doing more research, our tip lines blowing up, And I really appreciate, everything that you guys send us. We really do go through it and read it, what's pertinent. We vet it for authenticity. A lot of what we do and a lot of what I do is, I give it to you straight as I see it when it's happening. But when things change, or if I get something wrong, I'll let you know about it. Now, with Snowden in particular, I've raised a lot of questions, and I think a lot of very legitimate questions that still have not been answered, that we need to continue to seek out. Things that kind of, put it in the light, what are Snowden's motives? What were they? Is he just simply another Julian Assange type? Is he an authentic whistleblower? Could he be working for a government? He was working for the United States government, so he was working for the NSA and the CIA. There were some discrepancies, with his track record, his work history, etc. But a lot of that being lauded by the mainstream media and lauded by the machine, to kind of distract you from the truth. But the more and more I've seen this story develop, the more and more, quite frankly, I've been unsure of its authenticity. And also, the more and more it seems that Snowden himself is for real. And so I might be wrong, and I may have been wrong from the very beginning on Snowden. This is something that I'm monitoring on a daily basis. There are things that come out, we see them, I take it as presented to me. My initial assessment of Snowden may be wrong. And like I told you, and I'm an upfront guy, and that's why I think you guys tune into this country. Not this country, but this channel. I want you to ask questions. I am not here to win a popularity contest. If I was, I would simply just put up videos that were about popularity. I would never put up a video that says, you know what, Snowden, I don't know if this guy's legit. And that was my initial authentic take. The more and more the stories develop, I'm still a little bit on the fence and unsure, but it's looking more and more like he's for real, especially as I've seen the smear campaign come out in full force through the mainstream media. There's been, former Bush representatives speaking on the topic, etc. The more and more it's indicating, you know what, maybe I might be wrong here in this case. So I'm sticking with this story, and I told you we'd stick with it. You got my commitment to do that. And also, as things develop and things change, you can expect we'll update you. I'd like to hear from you. What do you think about Snowden? Has there been anything recently that has raised more suspicion, perhaps, in your part? Or has it confirmed his authenticity as a genuine leaker, or the contrary? What do you think? And I'd like to hear from you, and I would like to hear from you via our tip line, tips@amtvmedia.com. That's our secure, anonymous tip line. You can send us, it doesn't have to be related to Snowden. You have any kind of story that needs to be heard. Of course, it's going to be properly vetted by myself and our team and our small team. But outside of that, we're about truth. We're about getting out the truth to the American people and the people of the world at all costs. We will not live in fear. We will not cower to the corporate authority. We will not cower to big bad wolf government. We will not cower to the NSA, the CIA. We will not cower to any of these control freaks. We will not cower in the face of a totalitarian government. We just will not do it. So more and more is coming to light, and this is interesting. Iceland has been informally contacted by an intermediary who stated that NSA leaker, former CIA contractor Edward Snowden wants asylum in the Nordic island state. The difficulty, though, is that he is not in the country. WikiLeaks spokesman, so now this is kind of getting worked in with WikiLeaks, wrote in an Icelandic daily that a middleman had approached him on behalf of Snowden. Let me actually show you this article so you can see it for yourself. On June 12th, I received a message from Edward Snowden where he asked me to notify the Icelandic government that he wanted to seek asylum in Iceland, according to this journalist told Reuters. The government of the island nation confirmed that they got the notification. However, a meeting has so far been declined, according to the Iceland Review. The same day as the journalist sent the plea on behalf of the American whistleblower, he also requested a meeting with Iceland's Prime Minister and the Interior Minister. Neither of them was able to meet with me, even though they realized what my request was about. I made sure that both of them were given the necessary information about his plea for help. He was later informed by the ministries that under law, a person applying for political asylum in Iceland must actually be in the country. So expect to be updated on this, and we'll stay with this. You know, how this ties in to the NSA and these terror attacks, I want to say is beyond belief, but quite frankly, it's not. Quite frankly, we already knew this was happening. I mean, I've been personally talking about this for 3.5 years. You know, you're being wiretapped. Everything you say or do is being data mined. Check out these facilities, multi-billion-dollar facilities in places like Colorado. We've been around people, like when we were at the Republican National Convention, people that are actually in charge of these facilities that have campaigned for them and, built them, some of them privately, etc. This is all real. And what's made this such a big story is that it's made it tangible. People are like, oh my God, we thought and suspected this was happening, but now we know. Now we know that this is the legitimate case, and obviously for very good reasons, it scares people, and it is scaring people, and it's raising all kinds of questions about internet privacy, questions about national security, questions about the constitutionality of just saying, hey, F you, we're going to read all your shit. How do you like that? Wiretap your phone? Yeah, we're going to listen in on your cell phone, read your emails. We're going to, sneak a peek of your naked wife coming in and out of the shower. We're just going to do what we want. Welcome to America. It's like a commercial. Ding! Like an Orbitz commercial. Welcome to America. Ding! Forget their tagline. It was like, freshness is brighter. I don't know, something like that. So I want you to think about for a moment the fact that this has been made tangible for the sheeple. All the sheeple out there. Now it's like, oh my God, we're being tracked. I mean, I even have, friends that, are totally on opposite sides politically, like, oh, this is major shit, Christopher. I mean, liberals will come to me and be like, yeah, this is major shit. I don't agree with what Obama's doing at all. And, the polls indicate, 60+% of respondents, including to an independent poll I read today, believe this leads directly back to the White House. Well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I could have told you that 3.5 years ago. But what I want you to think about this, what makes it a big deal, is now that it's become tangible, this is just what we know that they're doing. This is just what's been confirmed through the leaks as being, the legit situation. I can see Wolf Blitzer in the Situation Room now, like, hi, I'm a Wolfie. I love the Wolf Man. I've seen him, and I'm being facetious and joking. But I've seen the Wolf Man actually a few times in person. He was down in Phoenix during one of the debates. It was kind of interesting. But what I want you to think about, and what makes this significant, is if this is what's happening, and this is what we know about, imagine what's really happening behind the scenes. This is just touching the surface of how deep this control grid and this rabbit hole really is. Google, for example, and I give Google props. A lot of respects. I like Google, love Google. They've empowered the small guy. They've empowered all of us. Pretty amazing. They have them. They've created a distribution system that can be used by anybody. The technology really is legitimately awesome, but things that we need to be fearful of are, again, anytime anybody, anyone, any person, any company, any entity has too much power and is able to aggregate and control that power in a single place within within a specific defined paradigm, that is something to be wary of. And so we have a hive. And I go back to this. We had that film. We submitted it to the InfoWars contest, which we still haven't heard on. It was I'm not sure if it was an official finalist yet or if it's just a semifinalist, but they did a report on us. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Everybody stay tuned. This is what a surveillance state looks like. I'm Christopher Green. We'll be right back. Got a short commercial break coming up. Hey, everybody. I am Christopher Green. This is Greenwave Radio Live, June 18, 2013. Welcome, everybody joining us. We are streaming around the world through YouTube. Check out the live YouTube. You can see live video footage of me as we are rocking and rolling the audio broadcast syndicated through American Freedom Radio, and the AMTV network. Pretty awesome. I'm looking at some of your questions here. Getting a little feedback there. Looking at some of your questions and comments. Drop one in the feed, and I'll answer it real time. I mean, how much cooler can that get? At least until they take it away and decide to, shut the entire grid down, and an EMP strikes, and millions of people die, and because no one prepared, and they're like, oh, that crazy guy was right. Okay, let's go to some comments here. Okay, hey Chris, hey, how you doing? Cy, what's up? Another guy says there's no volume. Well, I would say I sure as heck see the volume going, so hopefully go. Okay, I see. Where's the volume again? Maybe there isn't a volume. I don't know. Is there a volume? Give me a happy face if there is, and a sad face if there's not. A few people say no. I say yes. The computers say yes. So let's go see here. I got automatic updates. Looks like everything is going on. It says, this is from the Rhino Daddy, asking my neighbors and friends. 95% don't understand or care what Snowden, Verizon, Benghazi, Fast and Furious, Federal Reserve, IRS scandals are mean, and I think the New York Stock Exchange reflects stability. Comments, Chris? Well, the comment is, look, no, there is no stability. Everything's a facade. Stock market is bullshit. 0% interest rates basically just mean they're blowing up a gigantic bubble. And I'm turning up the volume here a little bit because we got a request here from a few, so maybe that is doing a little better for you. In fact, let me check some feedback here. Maybe that clears it up. But look, everything that is in existence right now that has been implemented by the Fed itself, and take it from a guy. I mean, look, I was a finance guy for 10 years. I was there in 2008. It's not just me, pundit on the side, where I've been kind of, oh, this looks. No, I was there. I see the smiley faces. So good. Smiley face right back to y'all. Chris, no shit, really. Jana Crane, Wing Tweet, Stevie Music, Joker13621. What's up? Joker says, what's up, Chris? Coming from Southern Commie, California. That's right. Yeah, they love their communism over there. They love to bankrupt themselves and then ask, the rest of the states or the federal government to bail them out. Good job, California. And I'm actually from California. But guess what? I left. Actions speak louder than words. I got the hell out of there as soon as I could. I mean, I'll just go back to California now, like seriously, and I'll be down there visiting friends and stuff. And, man, it makes me nervous being in California. I mean, there's so many people now. I mean, it's at least... I don't know if it's double, but it's grown at least by 30% since I left over a decade ago. And honestly, it makes me uncomfortable. I mean, I find myself getting kind of claustrophobic. There's cars everywhere. There's people everywhere. And I just look around like, God, this is really going to suck when the grid goes down. What are all these people going to do? I mean, literally, especially in, the high-end areas of Orange County and the beach cities and stuff. I mean, I can just see... the big fake-titted wives in Newport, that marry their husbands they don't love, most of them, just so they can, I guess live like the Newport lifestyle. I can just see those same women like cannibalizing young children on the streets, like eating each other for survival and just, it'd be totally insane because they couldn't get their hair cut or, couldn't get the dye job or, get their hair bleached that day. So, man, it scares me. I get there and it's fun to visit. It's beautiful. It's pretty great in a lot of those respects. But honestly, scares the crap out of me. Scares the crap out of me. This is from somebody else's. Liza, you don't know me. What NBA team do you like? Well, to be honest, I don't really watch a lot of sports. Although I really do like sports, and I was an athlete most of my life. I played a lot. It might be strange to some of you, but I was a water polo player, and I was also a swimmer, and I was actually pretty darn good at it. In fact, I played Division I back on the East Coast in Washington, D.C., and I was fortunate enough to be an All-American, actually. It was an awesome sport, but I don't really watch too many sports. I do things like, I go to the gym, I work out, I like lifting weights. I try to eat right. I'm not perfect. I try to do all those things, but in terms of NBA teams, I guess to get back to that question, I don't really delve in this too often, but I would probably say, and I know a lot of you probably would hate it, I would kind of have to say I'm a Laker fan because I was born and raised out there, So, I remember back in the day, Magic Johnson and, guys like Nick Van Exel. And I remember, the first championship that they recently had, which, became a series with Shaq. So that's probably, I guess my favorite NBA team if I have one, but I really just don't follow it too much. I get another comment that says, "Hey, I love Cali. I'll miss it, but I'm on my way out too. Though I'm in the hills now, beautiful Sierra." Well, California is beautiful, beautiful. And I was actually just there visiting a friend. A good friend was getting married. It's gorgeous. I love it. I really love Northern California, though I haven't spent as much time out there. I think it's really cool. But honestly, wow, they're going to have problems. I mean, they already do. And honestly, when the grid goes down, when there's any kind of problem, I mean, it could just be a little earthquake that rocks that area. I mean, it's trouble. Not just, behind the scenes financially. And I remember even as a kid, it was Orange County went bankrupt at one point. And, just total gross mismanagement, et cetera. But the big cities, and John Smith is saying, they do scare me. I mean, honestly, it scares me. New York, I'm not a fan of, to be honest. I'm sure it's kind of cool. And I haven't really given New York a fair shot. I've actually only been there once. And this was back in the college days, and I just got a glimpse of it. So I can't give it a fair shake, but honestly, man, that city just felt evil to me. And I talked to a lot of people, and they're like, yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, it didn't feel right. Like, something about it just felt very evil, and people hate it when I use the word, but it felt satanic to me when I was there. It just kind of did not feel right. Miss Amaya says, 11:10, do you believe in the Illuminati? Yes, but maybe not in the way that you think. For example, I think that the Illuminati in themselves a lot of the times are propagandized by a lot of people, and that's what the Illuminati culture, Masonic culture is, etc. I believe in the Illuminati in the respect. I do believe that there's certain people that call the shots. Of course, these politicians are figureheads. Of course, President Barack Obama is not running the country. Whether or not that's big corporate interests, I think a lot of the time it is. It's those people that control those corporate interests. If those people behind the scenes are negotiating big business or geopolitics for their own benefit or not, you can narrow that down. You can do your own research, find out who these people are. They just had the builder group meeting. There's more and more information on this than anything we've ever seen. So, yeah, is the Illuminati real? Yeah, I believe them to be. Is it necessarily what's your pitch? Even within the alternative media, fitting a perfect form box, I put a bow on top and give it to you as an Illuminati present? No. Imagine 369 says, are you a birther? I wouldn't really call myself a birther per se. I would just call myself a truth seeker, somebody that questions truth. Is Obama, was he born in America? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. So, be a lie to say, oh, I know he wasn't born here. What do I know? What I do know is there's a lot of evidence to point to the fact that he wasn't. I know people personally that actually, I know one person in particular who was born in the same hospital the same week as President Barack Obama. A personal friend who says that's not a real birth certificate. Now, some of you are going to say, well, that's kind of just conjecture. Well, it is kind of just conjecture. That's, what someone's telling me. So am I a birther? I've been to the, Sheriff Joe Arpaio's. We covered it. Some of our first early coverage, we started getting out. I want to do so much more of this and travel, but I need your support to do it. It's very expensive to, cover world politics. Get out in a flight, haul all of our equipment out, get out there, travel with the right equipment so we can post-produce, et cetera. We got to, scrap by, try to get a roof over our head at nights, et cetera, bring the crew. These are things I need help with. I mean, I mentioned early on in the broadcast is exactly why I'm specifically going to be asking for your help in the not-too-distant future, so count on it. We need your help to grow. Otherwise, we will not exist. But back to the question, and I'm kind of getting, these questions go really fast here because I've got the automatic updates on, so I apologize if it's streaming too quick out of thought and then it kind of got misplaced. Somebody said, Hey, Chris, do you believe in aliens? Do I believe in aliens? Yes, I do. But maybe not in the traditional sense that you might think, kind of along the lines of the Illuminati question. It's my opinion that if I'm sitting here in front of a computer screen right now, having a conversation with you, our audience, having an intelligent thought process, just the amazing intricacy of how that works, our cellular structure from a cellular level, how small things can get microscopically, how everything works beautifully, and then as you kind of blow that out and into the universe and mass galaxies, and we can only see a snippet, a small snapshot of what's really out there. It almost is expanding and growing into infinity. Just the sheer statistics say yes, there's other life statistically. I mean, so if you're like a statistician, science guy, it would point that direction. But to me, it's just kind of the basic fundamental that look, I'm here. Wouldn't it be ignorant of me to say that there couldn't be other intelligent life form? Of course, then it gets into what defines life, what is life, how do you define that, how do you express that, how do you make it tangible? But just to keep it really stupid simple, yes, do I believe in aliens? I do. But back to the sheriff case, and that's kind of jogging my memory. Thanks, Imagine 369 on Sheriff Joe. What I do know about the birther issue is there's a lot of evidence to point to the fact he was not born in America, and just the sheer fact that Obama came out of nowhere, and I know that this is so, people hate that. I mean, the mainstream media tries to label you as a birther too, and I don't consider myself a birther. I consider myself somebody who's an investigative person seeking the truth at all costs, whether or not it disproves, what I originally think it to be or not. Just like Snowden. I mean, if you're just coming into the program here, we've got quite a few of you joining us in a live broadcast. If you miss it, I just told you, Snowden, I think my initial assessment was wrong. I don't know that for sure. Of course, a lot of what we do, it's, can't verify I'm not sitting in front of Snowden. But as I've seen the story develop, I had a lot of questions about who this guy was, the legitimacy of him, what his motives were, how is China involved? Those are legitimate questions. His work history, a few things that fell through the cracks, some, accounts from the people that knew him, etc. But again, when things change and new evidence presents itself, I'm the type of person, I don't have a dogmatic perspective of the world. I believe certain things to be true. I have certain beliefs. I have a belief system, etc. But to me, any good journalist or any good truther, if you want to call us all truthers, and we're all definitely seeking the truth, you have to be open to new evidence. You have to be, as the story changes. And the other thing to think about too is, look, as much as we vet, as much as we do our best and we break down the stories before we broadcast them and source them to make sure it's credible, what we're giving to you, our facts and stuff. We're also, keep in mind, bound to make a mistake or two. We try not to. I mean, we take every precaution. I try to not make any mistakes. But, we're going to make mistakes. I'm human. You're human. Going to make a mistake. I think what's important is when you make a mistake, you live up to the mistake, and then you fix it and you address it. That to me is a real person. If you can't do that, and you're so psychotic in your own mind that you have to be right, you'll even believe something that is totally false, it just makes you kind of an idiot. Another comment says, I'm a birther. Eventually this country will stand up again. Also in the comment box, let me know, you should see an image of my face. And for whatever reason on my live segment, I don't see my face on YouTube. So comment, see your face, so I know you see my face. I see it on the admin side, and I don't see it on your side. Very strange. Big T-Rex says, I want to trust you and your vids, but I'm still not sure. Well, Big, I would say that's a really good approach to life. You actually sound kind of smart. I want to trust you and your vids, but I'm still not sure. I think trust is earned over time, and many of you that have been with me from day one. And you know, many of you have absolutely been here from the very beginning, and honestly, that's amazing, and it's been a blessing in my life, and you know how much I care about all of you. But you know, and the people that have been here from the very beginning know I'm a real person, I'm a real guy, know the whole story, know how I got into YouTube, you know, understand what we've been doing, because it has been an authentic grassroots effort. I mean, honestly, I think about it in hindsight a little bit, and I have so much aspiration going forward of what I know we need to do and what we need to accomplish, and we have these gigantic goals, and we're stepping out into the future, and as I mentioned, I'm taking, you know, big risks the next few months. We're making a bold move. I see your face. Awesome. Great. You know, just to think back of what we've accomplished too, all of you honestly need, and those of you that have been with us from the very beginning, you honestly need to kind of pat yourself on the back if you haven't, because what we've done is genuinely shaken things up. We've been on CNN over the past 30 days. Anderson Cooper featured us. We were on CNBC. We've been talked about and notated on. I've been interviewed. Russia Today. The New York Times has mentioned us. We've been mentioned by others within the movement. InfoWars has done a live broadcast. I mean, so are you kidding me? That's amazing. That's absolutely incredible. So, you know, pat yourself on the back. What we've accomplished is incredible, but there is so much more that we need to do. I mean, we're just getting started. This is going to blow up the next few years. Blow up. And I need your support to make it happen. The competition's fierce. There's a lot that you don't see behind the scenes. I'm going to get into that because everything we do is fully transparent. There's a lot that you don't see. I'm going to get to in a moment. I got to go a quick break up the commercial ringing into my ear. Please support our sponsors. Please check them out. Today's video brought to you by SeedsNow.com. I'll be right back. Christopher Green, Greenwave Radio Live. Hey everybody, we are back. I'm Christopher Green, Greenwave Radio Live, visiting the comments section today, talking, interacting with our subscribers. We've had a really cool conversation going. You know, people talking about, you know, what made this country great before is, you know, we actually, and what makes a country great, I still think today, something we're fighting for, is the fact that we actually debate. We debate things. We question. We don't have to agree with each other. We can hate what our neighbor's doing, not approve of it, and yet that's okay in America. You can worship a different religion. You can worship a God, not a God. You can seek your own employment. You can start your own business. I mean, there's so much tremendous freedom that goes along with the idea of you're your own person and you have free will. Somebody, and I'll get to this too because I saw a couple of you ask us, hey, Chris, your breaks are dead air. They're dead air on YouTube, and we're working on that. And in the next week or two, I hate giving out dates. Soon is what I'll say, because we're making a big push to integrate all this technology. All of this is going to get, hopefully, with your support, bigger and better. These are the things that we're working on. You know, I'm operating in a very small, pretty much box of a room. I mean, this is what we've been doing for, you know, much of the past 3 years. In addition to as much traveling as we could get to, that we could actually afford. But you know, the vision, what we're actually doing right now, but we're going to need your support to do it, is build a real studio format. And so, I mean, we can bring guests on into the studio. We're going to be patching people in via Skype. Our technology is going to work. You know, the broadcast quality is going to be a lot better. We'll be streaming live. You know, I haven't come up with the schedule yet. We're kind of clearly, I'm going to be looking at clearly defining that. Whole nother level. I mean, bigger, better, bolder. And we're going to reach millions more people. So, you know, stay tuned for that. So I know that the commercials are, you're not hearing them on YouTube, which I would say, why are you complaining? Even though our commercials are great, and I want you to support our Liberty sponsors. You'll get the commercials if you're actually on the audio feed, which is rolling on our websites right now. greenwave.com, amtvmedia.com, and also our syndicate, which please support them. Danny over at American Freedom Radio, their team, awesome. Check them out if you haven't, AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Support what they do, share what they do. They're really great people over there, based out in Austin, Texas. They syndicated this for quite a while now. I know I sure appreciate them. So, bigger, better, bolder. Before we went to the commercial break, now my train of thought is coming back. I said there's a lot of things that you guys don't see, on the back end. One of the things you don't see is all the work, and everything that we do. And, it's not like, oh man, we do all this work for you. I mean, and part of that is true. We do it for you. But we also do it because we love what we do. I love what I do. For the first 2 years when I was, building out the channel, it was simply just a labor of love, and it still is to this day. I mean, honestly, it amazes me that I have the opportunity every day to come out and get out a message of truth, vocalize my opinion. We have this amazing platform, diehard audience. It blows my mind every single day. But what you don't see, back to what you don't see, is that honestly, our very infrastructure, our media, our platform, our websites, our YouTube channel, everything that we're doing and bringing to you, that we have built together, a grassroots effort to something better, to seeking out something better that we weren't getting from the mainstream media and all this stuff. I mean, we are legitimately threatened and being threatened from all angles. I mean, literally, and I'm not going to really go into all the details, but I said this earlier. I don't know if we're going to be here in 6 months. I'm just leveling with you guys. I don't know if AMTV will exist 6 months from now. I need your support more than ever right now. We are taking a giant leap forward to do everything in our power to grow what we're doing and to make sure that we survive into the future. Let's not just let big corporate America, and this is what corporate America they're trying to do. They don't want us to exist. They want us dead. They want to end us. And they want us out of the game. I mean, just the sheer costs, to give you a little example of protecting what we're doing from a legal standpoint, is enormous. And I have some good people helping us in those areas, is an enormous cost. I mean, you can't even imagine it. That's just one facet. Not to mention, everything we do is grassroots. I mean, I always think people use things like money as a crutch, like, oh, I can't do this because of money. I can't do that. Bullshit. You just do. Of course you need financial support. That has to come together, or you just won't you can't survive. It's just like, you get up in the morning and you do what you do because you've got to eat. You got to live somewhere, etc. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but most people choose to do that. Or what we're seeing now is a lot of people live alternative lifestyles. I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. But will we exist in 6 months? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, that is why I can't stress enough how important it is we strike now. And literally, I have every resource at my disposal deployed. Everything. Everything. Personally, and with this organization, driven towards this. I need your help to get to the next stage. What we're talking about here and what we've been doing for the past 3.5 years has been incredible, but can be amazing. We could blow it out of the water. CNN, Fox, these guys, now for the first time since I've been doing this, more people tune into news sources, other alternative news sources like the one you're watching, than they do the mainstream media. That is why corporate America and the big corporate media interests are now coming in, the sharks that they are. Again, these companies that we're competing with, that are trying to put us out, to kill us, These guys are working with, a few $billion over here with a target on our faces. I mean, I'm just level. It's not bullshit. I'm just leveling with you guys. People ask me all the time, like, Chris, are you fearful, what you do? Sure, there's times I am. But it's not going to stop me from doing what's right. It's not going to stop me from leading my life, doing what we need to do, growing our cause. It's not going to stop it. Fear's a good thing. It can be a good thing. To say you're never fearful is, in my opinion, you're not telling the truth. But it's not a reason to stop doing what's right. And you've had my commitment personally from the very beginning. And you have it now. And it's never changed. And those of you that know me and have known me from the very beginning, and those of you personally know me, know the kind of person I am, the kind of character I have. There is nothing that's going to stop us from achieving what we're doing. Nothing. We need to show our support, and we need to come together stronger than we ever have before. Looking at some of the comments here, it says, I just told her to turn the power off. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Anyone that looks forward to coming with not aware of how bad things are. How to fix the world. Okay, this is interesting. It says, how to fix the world. Raise shitloads of money. Get a good lawyer. This is the comment. Take the criminal bankers to court. Government criminal bankers begin to fail and lose control. We win. We win. That's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. And one of the biggest things is that these people, we call them the banksters. It's almost like an overused term, even though people like me actually coined it. I don't know, I was the first person to say a bankster, but definitely the movement coined it. Now it's just overused, and it almost doesn't kind of have the same effect. Part of it is holding these people accountable for their crimes. Any of you walk into a liquor store, you got a gun, you rob somebody, for a six-pack of beer or something, or a sandwich, 3 strikes, you go to jail. Some of you never get out, you're there for life. You got other guys like John Corzine of MMF Global. Well, he rolls into work, mismanages the entire company, places a couple bad bets because he's a greedy mother, you-know-what, costs the company billions. The stock price collapses to zero. He goes in and literally steals money out of thousands of customer accounts, puts it in his own account to cover his shortfall. That guy, actually, nothing happens to him. He just walks. Also, one of Obama's largest supporters, largest donors, holds these gigantic multi-million-dollar galas, how do you say? I don't know, whatever it is, high-end folk shit that they do. These guys walk around and are praised for what they do. Like, hey, good job. That was a fantastic heist. There is no accountability. These people are kings and queens. I'm not saying society hasn't always worked that way. That hasn't been the case. But guess what? It wasn't the America I grew up in. It wasn't the America that was taught to me. Now, these people are going to face the fire just like we would. Expect to stand in front of a jury or your peers. If guilty, expect to be convicted. Depending on how heinous the crime is, expect the death penalty. Just like any of you would. Black and white, in my opinion. Hold these scumbags, hold these assholes accountable. Because there's a difference between you and me. I mean, we, not you and me, but us and them. They live by a different set of rules. Different set. Play by their own, create the rules. And as long as you're not creating too much of a stir, they'll tell you like, oh yeah, freedom of speech exists. Oh yeah, there's a free press. Oh yeah, have the Second Amendment. As long as you're not stirring the pot too much. Start really stirring this thing, all of a sudden, you find yourself right where we are today. Obama wants your guns, wants your freedom, wants your money. Doesn't just want it, he's going to take it. You're a threat, You're the lone wolf now. You're the terrorist. If you're a patriot, you're blackballed. That's how it works. Tell the sheeple what they want to hear. Oh, yeah, you got freedom. Sure, yeah, it's a great country. Exercise what you want. The minute you do, you know what happens to you? You want to know? Google a couple names. Andrew Breitbart. Martin Luther King Jr. The Kennedys. On and on. I'm not going to go through all the names. I'm not vouching for every one of those names that I listed necessarily of me approving of, everything that those people did per se. Speak the truth. Stir the pot a little bit too much. People like Andrew Breitbart at tracker would say, I'm going to ruin you, Obama. I'm going to ruin you, he said at that CPAC conference. You're finished, my friend, is what he said. You're done. Just like, what's his face, Anthony whack his wiener around all over the, his Twitter feed was done. Breitbart wasn't a talker. He spoke with his actions. He'd tell you, then he'd do it. And he'd ruin you. What happens to those people? You guys, is Breitbart, is he attending CPAC this coming year? Oh, he's dead? Really? Interesting. Oh, and his coroner, the one that was doing the testing on his body, he's dead too? A lot of you don't know that. Of course, I did a breaking documentary on the time. Everybody connected to him died too suddenly. Just, dead. You've seen how this has all gained steam, how there's been this profound effect, and I think people like Andrew Breitbart, maybe I didn't agree with, everything. I think he was almost too maybe establishment for my taste, but I really respect his story. And, I read his book, and he really was at the forefront and has been on the forefront of, other people like Drudge and stuff, whether you like these people or not. But it's gotten to the point where the pot's been stirred. It's gotten so crazy. I mean, literally, we're going to win. Honestly, we're going to win. These people can't control what's happening anymore. This paradigm got flushed down the friggin' toilet. Federal Reserve, print money out of thin air, 0% interest rates. Yeah, blah, 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 drink the Kool-Aid, everything's great. Here's your Social Security check, Obamacare, everybody gets health care. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Done. Toasted. Finished. Gonna make 2008 look like a church picnic when it comes to roost. Don't know when that time's gonna be. Quite frankly, it doesn't even matter. We know where we are. War is a smoke screen. War is a reset button. Here's a new currency now after we killed 5 million of you. Oh, let's do this now. Or, they create, kind of like a black plague or something, just kind of wipe you out. Pretty convenient for me. I got to go to a quick break. I'm Christopher Green. We'll be right back. This is the second hour. Great show today. Going back to your comments right when we get back. Stay tuned. Hey, everybody. We are back. Christopher Green, Greenwave Radio Live. Just kind of funny reading comments here, having a great conversation with you guys. And, I'm reading one comment. Hey, Chris, feel free to pick your nose now. We see your screen, not your face. It's pretty funny. Okay, I will feel free to do that next time. Yeah, that's one thing. One thing, nowadays is just, you're live on camera so often, I guess you just kind of get used to it. Pretty amazing. We are back, having a great show. Love for you guys. Keep hitting us with the comments. I love responding to you. Really what's dominated the news over the past few days is this, spy versus spy, Snowden, what this all means, his legitimacy. Now, of course, we've got the smokescreen of war. Obama's clear intention to engage Syria has been from the very beginning. It's the reason why they've armed and have been arming the terrorists from the get-go. You can see here we put out this video yesterday. If you haven't seen that yet, Syria, Obama's new war in Syria, say F you, America. We also have AMTV News coming up shortly, along with a new video from me. Make sure to share it among your friends and family. A great way to stay posted. And get all the latest updates on things, not everything you're seeing on YouTube. then go ahead and subscribe to our e-letter. Let me go and actually show you how to do this if you haven't already. But here you can see this at greenwave.com. Click e-letter. You can subscribe, or at AMTV Media, go to e-letter. Takes you to our little short form. You can subscribe. And also, when you're watching our videos, and you can see here, I'll go to a video. If you just go down to the show more, we always have our hit list of not just sources. You can see here I have the sources of the stories that we're covering, but also how to connect on Facebook, how to connect to both our blog and our website AMTV. You can also get gear. A great way to support us. If you kind of want to donate to the cause, get a T-shirt. You can check it out. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, these are the first shirts and stuff we rolled out. Coffee cup, hoodie, T-shirt, basic stuff. I don't know why I keep showing the green hat, but if you click it, it's a white hat. But yeah, feel free to give me any feedback too. If there's something you want to see here, or I can do things a little differently, help support the cause, fantastic. We'd love to do it. But you can find, all of that important information in the description box itself. So, Syria, you guys want to go to war? You want another Obama war? You're not in support of that? That's not your thing? Well, you know what? Say F you, Obama. Say F you, America. Then say F you, all you politicians telling us to do this and that. These young kids nowadays in America shouldn't go and fight and die overseas. That's bullshit. They shouldn't have to do that for illegitimate reasons. Many people before us have fought and died so that we could have the country that we have, that we could have relative peace, that we could establish America. The fact that you've got a lot of these, poor kids too, they have no better options, and that's how their life ends. Or they come home and they're traumatized. If they're not traumatized physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, that to me is a tragedy. When you're fighting for what? What are you fighting? And those are questions you need to ask. And we need to encourage the younger generation not just to ask, but try to answer. It's amazing to me, the younger generation, I mean, you take a look at your average 16-year-old now, can't get their hands off their cell phone, can't get their hands off their iPad. Can't get their hands off any of these things. Their entire life, fully documented, fully recorded, data mined. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, and this is what the police state looks like. There was a report that came out today from the Washington Post in the technology section saying Google challenges U.S. gag order citing First Amendment. Google asked the Secret Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court on Tuesday to ease longstanding gag orders over data requests it makes, arguing that the company has constitutional right to speak about information it's forced to give the government. The legal filing, which cites the First Amendment's guarantee of free speech, is the latest move by the California-based tech giant to protect its reputation in the aftermath of a news report about sweeping national security agency surveillance of Internet traffic. Well, even if the companies themselves are well-intentioned, and I'm looking at a picture they got Google with the spy camera, even if the company's intentions are good, are just, are moral, it's very difficult when you have a federal government that is putting the pressure on and wants their hand into that data. Now, that's not to say Google shouldn't go say F you. These companies shouldn't try to protect our rights, etc. But, you can understand why the government, and you can argue, too, the Internet. Again, who created the Internet? The government. They created it largely as a defense mechanism. If the grid goes down, that we can communicate in a World War type scenario. Same thing with Snowden. These were legitimate questions. The guy works for the government. It's not like, who's he working for? No, he worked for the government. He was in bed with the NSA and CIA. It's only prudent that we ask the questions, well, is he legitimate? And we just don't take it at face value when it comes from the mainstream media. So, you've got to look at corroborating evidence, and you've got to investigate all of this further. We'll go back to some questions here. We've got about 10 minutes before the broadcast, and we move on, and I'll get all those videos uploaded for you. Fuzzy Fairy says they've worked really hard to keep us plugged in as much as possible, giving us so many ways to stay hooked. Yeah, and that's kind of what they want, right? I think it's the same. I talk to a lot of people about this too. A lot of women, they'll tell me about the women's movement. They'll say, Christopher, equality is great, and those are things I believe in too. Obviously, male versus female. Although I think males and females, we do have different strengths, different weaknesses, etc. That's a part of who we are as human beings. Doesn't make them any better or worse. But part of the whole women's movement, what it did, and women tell me this all the time, is it creates this environment where now nobody can stay home. Nobody can raise the family. Nobody can take care of the kids. Prices go up because, of course, there's two incomes now, so you can spend more. You're doling out more cash, etc., to the giant corporations, so you can buy more useless shit. Welcome to the women's movement. I mean, and it's not just the women's movement. We've seen this on a fundamental level across really all spectrums in our society, where it's, again, follow the money, follow the dollar signs. That gives you an idea of the situation. Too Extreme says WW3 is inevitable. All countries are hurting for an economy boost, and the military-industrial complex is the one that is offering salvation. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Of course. Agree with that. Black Dream Hunk 2 says a black man created the internet. I don't know. That might be true. And then I see other comments about fear. This is about fear. Quote, I don't know if this is, I haven't verified the quote, coming from a subscriber. The day that Albert Einstein feared may have finally arrived. Okay. I fear the day the technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots. Correct. I mean, it's one of those things. I was talking with a family member, and it was like, hey, are kids even being taught things like math anymore? Because, I mean, they've got a computer. It's like we don't really... Like, if they just broke down and was like, hey, do long division, how many Americans could actually do long division? I mean, honestly, how many Americans can, name the state capitals or know anything about American history, that know, any more than maybe one or two, parts of the Bill of Rights? Or those kinds of things, or how the country came to be, the great risks that were taken, the constitutional values that our founding fathers built into this country, a nation founded on an idea, an amazing experiment, and there's such a great sense of detachment from that history, which is one of the reasons that this country, I think, is broken apart. And it's why it's been really relatively easy for the establishment to just kind of chuck it, pitch it as an archaic view of the world, and they don't care about America. They don't. Maybe they should change the name at this point. I mean, I don't know. Any recommendations from you guys watching? It doesn't seem like this. It's like they took a car, took it apart and rebuilt it into an entire new one. It's not, it used to be a Toyota. Well, it's not a Toyota anymore. What is it? Someone says, hey, I was supposed to be hiking with my dog in the mountains right now, Chris. Damn your good show. Well, you know what? Go hike with the dog after. I'm sure the dogs still love it. Beggars can't be choosers. Dog be like, hey, thank you. Maybe the dog's enjoying the show. Who knows? Maybe the dog's smarter than us. So, dog, if you're watching, what's up, dog? Chris Green, hard-hitting it in your face. Breaking news. I have not verified this yet. Massive explosions in Russian weapon facility. I don't know if that is the case or not. I see the Senate rejects border fence. Some comments from Senator or from Rubio today. Obama working on peace talks in the Middle East by going to war with a new country. It's amazing how he was able to work that into a Cold War, is what they're calling it, Russia. There was that interesting article over the weekend. I know we got to close shop here pretty quick, and I'll get this rebroadcast and re-archived as soon as possible. So I guess we got to end it there, America. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Get it out to your friends and family. Tweet at, follow us at Facebook at Greenwave TV. I'm Christopher Green as always. Love you guys. Hard hitting and in your face. Stay tuned for a couple great uploads coming up next. Peace.